Have you ever felt alive at home, but quiet everywhere else? Introverts are not silent because they lack thoughts. They are quiet because their inner world is already loud. From the outside, introversion is often mistaken for hesitation, for shyness, for disinterest. But internally, something else is happening. An introvert's attention turns inward before it moves outward. They read the room before entering it. They notice tone, timing, and emotional weight. This isn't fear, it's attunement. Most environments reward speed, immediate reactions, constant presence. Introverts move differently. They don't speak to fill space. They speak when something feels precise. From early on, many introverts learn that their natural rhythm doesn't match the world around them. They're encouraged to come out of their shell, to be more expressive, more available. What's rarely questioned is whether the world makes room for depth. So, introverts adapt. They compress their thoughts. They rehearse before speaking. They stay alert even when drained. Not because they have nothing to say, but because saying something costs them energy. Every interaction draws from a limited reserve. Small talk empties it quickly. Crowds exhaust it completely. This is why introverts often need solitude after social moments that seemed normal. Nothing went wrong. They simply gave more than they could afford. Introverts don't avoid people. They avoid depletion. Silence becomes regulation. Aloneness becomes recovery. In quiet spaces, their mind expands. They think in depth, not fragments. They replay conversations. They notice what was felt but never spoken. This inner richness is invisible, so it's often misunderstood. Introverts are labeled passive, but passivity suggests absence. Introverts are present, just internally. They don't compete for attention. They don't interrupt to be remembered. They wait for meaning, and when meaning doesn't arrive, they don't force it. Over time, this leads to misinterpretation. They're seen as distant, uninterested, hard to read, when in reality, they're highly selective. They value depth over frequency, authenticity over performance, connection that feels real. Because the world measures presence by volume, introversion is mistaken for lack. And eventually, introverts begin to doubt themselves. They question their pace, their quiet, their way of being. So they perform extroversion when necessary. They speak past exhaustion. They stay visible even when overstimulated. It works, but it disconnects them, because living against your nature always has a cost. And this is where the psychology of introverts truly begins. Not in silence, but in the constant tension between a deep inner life and a world that rarely pauses long enough to notice it. The cost of that tension doesn't show up all at once. It accumulates quietly. Introverts often don't realize they're overwhelmed until their body forces a pause. Fatigue without a clear cause. Irritability that feels out of character. A sudden need to withdraw. This isn't weakness. It's a nervous system asking for relief. Introverts process stimulation deeply. Sounds linger. Emotions echo. Interactions replay long after they end. While others move on, introverts are still integrating. This depth is why introverts are often misunderstood as slow or hesitant. But slowness is not confusion, it's precision. They want their words to match their thoughts, their actions to align with their values. They don't rush expression, because expression feels permanent. Once something is said, it lives. Introverts are also frequently mistaken for being emotionally distant. But distance is not disconnection. They feel intensely, just privately. They may not react outwardly, but internally they are tracking nuance, shifts in mood, unspoken tension, the emotional undercurrent beneath conversation. This sensitivity makes introverts deeply empathetic, but empathy without boundaries is exhausting. So they learn restraint, they limit exposure, They choose carefully who they open to. They protect their inner space, not because they are closed, but because once opened, they give fully. In relationships, introverts are often the steady presence. They listen more than they speak. They remember small details. They show care through consistency, not display. But this style is easy to overlook, because love that is quiet is often mistaken for love that is weak. Introverts may grow up feeling unseen, not because they hide, but because the world listens for louder signals, so they learn to exist without expectation of recognition. They stop competing, they stop explaining, they let their depth remain unadvertised. And while this protects them, it also isolates them. The most painful misconception introverts carry is the belief that their way of being is something to outgrow, that they must become louder to be valued, more social to be relevant, more visible to be included. But introversion is not a limitation. It's a different orientation toward life. Introverts don't extract meaning from motion. They extract it from reflection. They don't need constant stimulation to feel alive. They need alignment, space to think, time to feel, silence to integrate. When introverts are allowed to live at their natural pace, they don't disappear. They deepen, they create, they perceive what others miss. They bring clarity where there is noise. The problem was never that introverts were too quiet. It's that the world forgot how to listen. And when an introvert finally stops trying to be heard and starts honoring their inner rhythm, something shifts. They no longer see their silence as absence. They recognize it as presence, focused, intentional, and whole. Not everyone is meant to fill the room. Some are meant to understand it. And that is the part most people get wrong.